sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Saturday morning, ready to talk. College athletics might be facing a crossroads. I'm here this morning with my man T1 of City League TV, somebody else. This guy is a man of many hats. How you feeling this morning, T1?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm out with the family having breakfast, so I'll try to mute, and if it don't sound too bad, I'll talk. If it sounds too bad in the background, I'll just listen.
All right, we appreciate you joining us, bro. I also got my man SEC Sean with me this morning. How are you feeling this morning, SEC?
Feeling pretty good. Late night. I don't know if you saw in the chat, but I got stuck staying up till about 3 a.m. watching the end of that Ole Miss baseball game. So I might need some help. I'm not real sure yet.
We also got our man, One Take Zaya. He's always mobile, on the move. How you feeling, One Take?
Man, what's up with y'all, family? It's good to be on. How y'all doing this morning?
We good.
What it do?
Hey, T1, that Cleveland gear oddly look good on you, baby.
Hey, you know I'll make it look good, man. You know I'll be representing. You gotta represent.
For sure.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir. Can you bring us up to speed on college baseball real quick before we get into our questions of the day?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We had the college basketball or baseball tournament kicked off yesterday. Man, if you don't watch college baseball, that's the time to watch it. It's March Madness in end of May. It's May Madness. I mean, it's insane. You got teams, UCLA #1 all year long gets beat by St. Mary's in their own park. Auburn, best pitching staff in all of college baseball, best ERA, gets beat by a team called Milwaukee, who was under 500 but won their conference tournament and got in, and goes to Auburn and beats the snot out of Auburn 12-7. College baseball is just insane. It's fun. The atmosphere is so crazy at all these stadiums. And then you got games all day today. Winners bracket, losers bracket. You got all kinds of stuff going on starting actually now. Oklahoma's game was suspended, so they're playing the Citadel today. Your Longhorns won. A&M won. Came back. We were down 5-0 and came back to win 7-5. So a lot of craziness. I do have one beef about college baseball, and it stems strictly to ESPN. It's a multi-billion-dollar company that can't get their head out of their rear end. They got the standings posted. Now, mind you, Jacksonville State, good baseball team, but they've got their record listed as 93-12 or something. They don't even play that many games. That we're playing Texas State in the winners bracket tomorrow. They've got Texas State 73-48. You're a billion-dollar company and you can't get your standings correct. And we can go for hours about ESPN mistakes. But I just have a beef. I have a problem with a multi-billion-dollar company that can't even get standings correct. So,
yeah, you got a legitimate.
Just kind of where we're at.
That's music to T1's ears, boy. He want to hear all the negativity about ESPN. You know he loving that right there.
No, big bro. I love ESPN. I mean, we ain't got nothing else to look at. Hey, no, but what SEC Sean said, that's the beauty about college baseball. Like, if you got enough players that can play, you could pop somebody. It's way easier, and if y'all just be in one of those zones and have a great game like that, y'all can slay the giant, and those must have been some beautiful games to watch.
Yeah, they definitely were. It was, it's just so unpredictable because college baseball, I mean, these kids do whatever, but you know, that UCLA loss was kind of woke everybody up. I think them and Auburn kind of woke everybody up. I mean, you just don't know. UCLA was the first number 1 seed to ever lose their first game in a regional.
Wow.
In the history of this whole tournament. So pretty crazy stuff. If you're not tuned in, ESPN does, they do, I will give this to ESPN. They do, Squeeze Play, I think is the name of the show. They do it all day long, and it's like a multi-view, and they bounce between all the different games. It's a really cool program to watch. But yeah, college baseball is intense, and it's insane. I like it as much as I do March Madness, to be honest.
Cool. Well, let's get into our questions that we got for today with college athletics might be facing a crossroads. We're going to start off with my man, Juan Tegzea. What's your thoughts on the state of college athletics as it sits right now?
We in shambles right now, man. You know, we it's like we don't have a sense of direction. We got to understand. Well, as fans, we just want an understanding of where we going, and I don't think us as fans really know where we going, man. So I'm gonna say it's in shambles, bro. I just want a sense of direction. I don't think really if I don't think we all would have a problem if we knew what direction we were headed to, rather than just not knowing what's really going on. Because like one day we talking about 24 teams and football. Then we talking about all the gambling going on. Then we got dudes out here getting DUI and speed racing down 100 miles per hour in a 65 zone. It's just a lot going on in athletics, and I just think it's because we don't have no sense of direction.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, T1? What's your thoughts on the state of college athletics as it sits right now?
It's all about the money, and they gotta try to figure out how they can make the most money, and not really caring about who happy, because they don't know if they're going to be happy. So college sports, they're just going in a different direction than we would like. And we still just gotta sit back and just enjoy it, because what else we gonna look at? College football is amazing. So college basketball is amazing, and it sounds like baseball is jumping off right now. So they just gonna keep on changing stuff, and there's nothing we can do about it. So sit back and respect it and move on.
What's your take on that, SEC, Sean, on everything that's been said, and what is the state of, what's your thoughts on the state of college athletics as it sits right now?
I don't think there is a state. It's Zay said it best. It's in shambles. I was trying to sit here and come up with a better word than shambles, and I just don't know that I can come up with one. But it's not just the fans. Listen to the coaches. They don't even know what's going on. They don't know what the rules are. Can I go recruit this guy? Can I not recruit this guy? Is this guy, got issues? Is this guy okay? How much money can I pay this guy? Nobody knows what any rules are. It's the Wild West. It's the Earp boys out in Tombstone trying to find gold is what it is, and everybody's looking for it.
Yeah, I like that word shambles as well. I think everybody who watched college athletics, everyone who was involved in college athletics, all agree that it's in shambles. But I think everybody involved, watching, participating, all see that it's in shambles, and they want to see it get fixed, because it's starting to become one of those situations where people are becoming uncomfortable with the direction that it seems like it's going, to where some of them may start shying away from watching college athletics. Now, those of us on the screen, we understand that it's at this point, it's entertainment for us. We want to watch it because we love college sports. But there are others who, probably feel like, man, if this thing can't get fixed, I just going to boycott it and I don't want to watch it until they do something about it. Um, but I think that there's enough people out there that understand that it's in shambles and they want to see it get fixed. It seems like there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, man. And or the chief isn't isn't moving this thing in the right direction because maybe they are influenced by their own what they want for themselves. So I hope that hopefully they can get this thing fixed, man. Let's look at our next question. We'll start with
that's
you.
that's a good point, Rob. It's too many chiefs. The problem is you got the main chief in there smoking on the peace pipe while the Indians is just running the village.
It's right. Let's check on this next question. We're going to start with you, SEC Sean. If you could fix one of college athletics issues right now, what would it be?
If I got to pick one to fix, I'm going to fix this transfer portal. I'm going to stop this transferring after transferring after transferring thing. I'm going to stop it. You get one and you're done. Or you sit out a year. So that's what I'm going after to fix right now. So at least that way there, every coach in every sport would have some continuity to their roster, knowing who's going to stay, who's going to, versus you don't know who's going to be there next week. So that's what I'm fixing. I'm fixing that transfer portal immediately.
T1, outside of the transfer portal, which issue are you fixing right now?
That's a tough one for me because that's the thing I would love to talk. I would say the transfer, but I would say I say like if you do transfer, you gotta sit out.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, I'm going straight to college football. The one thing I would fix is scheduling. I would try to balance out scheduling with power schools. Um, as far as like, we in basketball we got ACC Big Ten challenges. I would do something along those lines to kind of even out, so people wouldn't be like, oh, this conference is better than that conference, or we can prove it on the field. So that's one thing I would fix.
Would you real quick, Zay, would you like to see it rotate between the Power Four, like SEC Big 12 then one year, then SEC Big 10, then SEC ACC? Everybody just kind of rotate.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. I think it should be like a decade thing. You got 16 to 18 to 20 teams in these conferences, so across a decade, that's 10 different matchups you could possibly have each year. And yeah, you can rotate it, and we don't even know how long these four conferences are gonna last though. But in the current circumstances that we in, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to rotating it either, because now you getting different matchups that you just would never see. And I think if you did something like that, you had to base it off of, you know, projections and previous years wise. Like, Texas is projected, Georgia's projected both to be playoff teams. You need to match them up with teams that's projected out of the Big 12 or the ACC or the Big 10 that's projected to be highly competitive teams.
Yeah, I like that thought. I like that thought. For me, it will probably be the 5-year rule. I would like to see them institute that right now, so that we can get away from these players coming back for 6, 7, 8, 9 years of college athletics. I think that thing needs to get fixed ASAP, Jack. But I like the ones that y'all picked as well because I think they're really high on the list as well. Um, let's go back to what you were talking about, one take Zay, when it relates to this scheduling, and I really like that idea, and I really think that college football should definitely do it. I think college basketball is already ahead of the game when it comes to that. Uh, but I would like to see the Power Four conferences. You look at your ranking at the end of the season, the projection going into next season, and you make some very good matchups across conferences. And it don't got to be two games. It could just be one game, like what we see with the Ohio State and Texas. But those two schools decided on that. I would like to see conferences come together and decide what these matchups are going to look like. And year in and year out, they can have it on a rotating basis. And you looking at what the projections are and make sure that we can always have these kind of games scheduled. And then maybe a coach like Steve Sarkisian wouldn't be talking the way he's talking about Texas Tech.
Hey,
So,
hey, um,
now go ahead.
hey, when I think about it in my head, the way I will work it is, man, I will take top eight from each conference.
Mhm.
And this idea that I got is really based on trying to make people stay relevant and competitive and putting money into their program. I will put names in a hat, and whoever you draw, you got to play them. And that's going to make you put money into your program each and every year. And I think the competition and the games would just be way better, because if you finish top eight, then we already know you serious about football. So if you don't finish in the top eight, you probably will want to stay there, because if you ain't trying to put money in your program every year and be relevant, then you're going to come out there and get embarrassed.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Hey, y'all. What's 6 times 4?
6 times 4 is 24.
24. So I'm going up in Zay's top 8. And guess what? I got the top 6 coming in. You got the top 3 conferences, and then we're gonna get 6 other ones, and that's my 2014 players.
That ain't a bad iteration at all, T1. You right. Top 6. I like that. Yep.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
As he takes a bite of his pancakes.
My fault. I was supposed to turn the camera off, but hey, while I'm up here talking about mathematics, and I should have said this at the beginning. Congratulations on your retirement, Mr. Brown. Appreciate you for all of the work that you did for them young kids over there in the area that we grew up in. So how satisfying that had to be for you. And you came out, you still look young, bro. So they didn't wear you down. You still look good and energized. So congratulations again on that retirement, man. And you know we love you, man.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's look at our next question that we got, and we're going to start with you first on this one, T1. What's your take on the bill proposed for saving college football? They got Ted Cruz and a couple of other politicians who are working on some things. I don't know how much y'all have actually read into this, but what's your thoughts on, even if you haven't read up on it, on senators getting together, politicians getting together to try to fix this thing in college football? We're going to start with you, T1.
I haven't read up on it much, but if I just have to use the brain that I have, that's pretty good. They were probably trying to take some money from these student athletes that's now bringing in a whole lot of money. So I don't know what they got to talk about or what they got to do, but they don't need to touch them boys' money. You know, they worked hard to get there. Everybody's getting paid, so you can't add the horse. You know what I mean? You can't even have a race if you ain't got a horse in the race. So them horses need to be paid as well. So I don't know what they're talking about, what they're trying to propose, but I think they were probably trying to get them kids to not be getting this money that they're getting. And I think it's well deserved, because they are the product, and it's one of the best products in all of the world.
What's your take on that, SEC?
Well, my take on it is obviously I like it. I like everything in it. For those that maybe haven't heard or read up on it a little bit, I'll kind of run through kind of just some of the outliers in it that stand out. It's limiting transfers to one, and then you sit out. The only exception to transferring without having to sit out a year is if a coach leaves or you were abused in some sort of way, like we've seen too many times in college athletics recently. Stuff like that is the only reason you can transfer a second time with no sitting out. It's putting a cap on like T1 mentioned, he doesn't want them to take the money away from the players. They're not. They're just going to put a cap on how much each roster can cost. There's no set number for that though, so we'll deal with that later. But stuff like that, 5 years. Your big talking point, Rob, the 5-year rule. It's actually the age of 24 is your final year to play. Is what it came out to be, and then there was a clause in there that the Big Ten and SEC were singled out in this, saying that they're not allowed to leave the NCAA and form their own super conference. So kind of that stuff. There was some other stuff mixed in there too, but we're not going to get into all of it. That's the top of it.
The last one you said?
Do what?
What was that last one you said?
That they put a thing in there that there's no formation of super conferences.
Hey, let me say something real quick since I just got a little background knowledge of what's going on here. And for the most part, I kind of would agree with everything on there except for messing around with that money that those student athletes are getting. And if I'm the Big Ten and SEC, I'm going to say absolutely not. We're not letting y'all put that in there. We're not agreeing to any such thing. So if y'all want us to be down with y'all and sign such thing, y'all going to have to give us even more money. You know it's about the money. So y'all will have to give the Big Ten and SEC a little cut of what's going on here in college football.
What's your thoughts, One Take?
Hey, so that's all cool. I like what Sean. I like everything he said except for the super conference. No. Actually, when I take a second thought of it, I do like that because what they trying to stop is the SEC and the Big Ten monopolizing the whole college football. You know what I mean? And I can get that. They don't want them to be able to corner the market. I don't like the 24-year-old age rule though, because in my thought process, I'm like, what if a cat gotta go like to junior college a couple years? You feel me? The transfer gonna count against him once he go to Tulane, but then he might be good enough for real after playing a year at Tulane to play at LSU. So I think they just need to give a 5-year rule because that's 4 years right there. You know what I'm saying? 2 junior college years, then you play Tulane, then you play the LSU. Give them that 5th year, but don't put the 24 on there because that person could have graduated late and they could have well turned 25 in that year. And that's where I think certain stuff like that get tricky. I'm cool with 5 years, but I don't want them to put the age. Like, it need to be some language in there to where it be like, all right, you ain't go to school until you turned 20. You sat out or whatever, and then now your final year might be when you're 26. Now I think that type of language need to be in there to where, okay, you wasted time. That's on you, or you might have not had your grades right or something. That's on you. But I don't like the age part of that. But all that other stuff, I'm cool with the sentence and all that being in there, and I'm cool with all the ideas that they got except for that age stuff.
I will say the age thing was brought up on other stuff. It's mainly been the 5 years. The 24-year-old thing came up on different issues. I don't think it was necessarily involved in this bill per se. I will say the only other thing in this bill that I forgot to mention a minute ago was it will eliminate anybody that has played professional sports from getting college eligibility, which I'm trying to read more into this. Does that include let's just, an example, like Luka played professionally over there in Europe. He couldn't have gone to college, things like that. I don't know the legal terms on that one yet, but it is like these guys that are all going to G League after college and then coming back to college because they have a year left. It's going to eliminate all that stuff.
Yeah, I like pretty much everything that I heard about the proposal as well. The 24 thing I did not like either. One take Zay, I think it should just be 5 years, unless it's a military mission or Mormon mission. If it's something like that, and you had to go do that 2-year commitment, then I can see you being 24. But outside of that, it should just be 5 years. So I did like that. I like the fact that they want to put a cap on how much teams can spend. And I hope eventually they get to the point where they can start maybe having a collective bargaining agreement or making these players employees to the point where you can put a cap on how much a guy can make outside of the endorsements that he might generate or she might generate. I think that might be a good idea as well. But I like pretty much everything that I heard. I want to see super conferences if they can get this thing together. But I much prefer to have the 4 Power 4 conferences that we have. I would rather it be that than super conferences. But if you can't get this thing together, man, then super conferences is probably going to be the way to go. And I don't think they should be allowed to handcuff the SEC and the Big Ten if they can't get it together. Because I think they got enough brilliant minds in both of those conferences that they could come up with something that's workable. But for the most part, I like everything that I read in the bill and everything that I've heard from all 3 of you so far. Let's look at our next question. It says, how do you feel about high school recruits saying they need to be paid to take an official visit to a school? How do you feel about that? Let's start with you, One Take.
Hey, I'm all for playing the system by the rules, and they playing it by the rules. You know, if you get some money, man, go get some money. You feel me? There's a lot of people out here struggling in the world, man. I ain't mad if they need to get that 5,000. You know what I mean? That 10,000 to hit the campus. Hey, if college athletics don't like it, make the rules. You know, you got to put the rules in place if you don't like it.
You can go.
Yeah, I think I like that. I like it. I'm with it. Get that money. The money's out there. So hey, if you want me to come visit, they already put them up pretty good. Make sure they got rides everywhere. But it's going to cost a couple dollars.
What's your thoughts, SEC?
I don't like it. I get going and getting the money. You're going on these visits to where you're going to wind up making millions. And you're already getting everything paid for. Your whole family get to go to the visit, everything's paid for by the college. It's like a dang vacation anyway, with the whole family getting paid for. So I don't like them asking, hey, I'll come visit you, but you're going to have to pay me this. Well, how many of these kids do y'all see take official visits and wind up not going there? So, for example, I'm a superstar recruit, and I'm gonna, hey, Rob, I'm gonna come visit Texas, but you need to pay me $10,000-$15,000 to come over there. And you say, oh, okay, no problem. You bring me in, you show me around, we do everything, and then Zay call it, hey, we want you to come take an official visit to Ohio State. Well, okay, I need $10,000 or $15,000. Okay, cool, here it is. And then all of a sudden you commit to LSU. I don't like it. I'm old school though. Official visits used to mean, something like schools were interested in you and you were interested in them. Now it's just, oh, I'm interested in your school, but how much money can you give me? Oh, you can only give me $5,000 to come there. Well, Texas said they give me 10, so I'm gonna go there instead. I don't like it. Call me old school, say what you want. I don't like it.
Yeah, my thing is, man, I don't like it either. I feel like, and this is one of those classic cases too, man, where the genie is out of the bottle. Now you want to put it back in there. It's out now, and I think that if a player wants to get paid for making an official visit, I think the wording should probably be: listen, you make these official visits that you get. I think you get 4 of them. You make those official visits. The school you commit to, you sign with, then they can give you an official visit stipend once you land on that campus. But the other ones that you visited, they don't have to give you anything. But the school you commit to, they should give you some kind of official stipend for committing to that school. You sign with them, that's where you're going to be. But I don't think all 4 of those schools should be dropping 10, 15. Some guys was getting in the hundreds of thousands, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think that that's cool at all. I feel like these players should be able to get paid, but the university, they spend a lot of money when they bring these young men on campus because it's top of the line stuff. And if a crop of guys come into a university on an official visit, that university spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on them families, everybody that's there, treating them with the royal treatment. So I'm okay with them getting a stipend if they decide to sign with that team. But to get money from all the schools that they visit on an official visit, I don't like that. I don't like that. Anything else y'all want to add about that? All right, cool. Let's play a little bit of for or against. So you'll just say for or against when I give you the scenario. For or against 5 years of eligibility. Are you for or against it? Just chime out.
No, I'm for it. Hardcore for it. I think the first one was 1 transfer too. I think we kind of skipped over that one, but I'm for this 1 transfer too. It was tied into your for or against, I think, right at the end.
Oh, maybe that one fell off. That's
all right. I'm for both of them, though. I'm for 1 transfer and I'm for 5 years of eligibility.
Cool. What's your take on that
one? I'm against it. 4 years, that's it. We're not giving no extra years. 4 years, get up out of here.
Okay. I'm for the 5-year eligibility rule. I like that. What about the 1 transfer rule? Are you for or against the 1 transfer rule? Yeah, I'm for the 1 transfer rule too. I don't think you should be allowed to mess around, and especially if they give you 5 years, you end up at 5 different schools. I'm definitely ain't in favor of that. And we've seen some of that where a guy has been at 3 or 4 different schools. I don't think that's cool at all. So I'm in agreement. I'm for the 1 transfer rule. Are you for or against blocking the SEC and Big Ten from forming super conferences?
I'm for it just to keep the 4 conferences. I mean, that's kind of the last strand we have to college football is conferences. So I understand it'd be conferences with 2 super, but it's not the same. You're gonna to put it in a soccer reference, you're gonna turn college football into the English Premier League.
Yeah. T1, you for it?
I'm for it. No, excuse me. I'm against it. Unless the only way give Big Ten and the SEC the money. Other than that, we may be in the background thinking of just getting 2014 conferences and excluding y'all and getting all the money to ourselves.
One take, Zay, what you say? Are you for or against blocking the SEC and Big Ten from forming a super conference? Super conferences.
Yeah, I don't think monopolies is good in any industry. So I don't think we should do two super conferences.
Are you for or against the 5-year eligibility rule?
I'm for that.
All right. Are you for or against one transfer?
I'm for that too.
Okay. I want to see these four super conference. I mean, these four Power Four conferences stay in existence. So I'm gonna say I'm for them blocking the SEC and the Big Ten, but I really feel what T1 is saying. I feel like if they're gonna carry the day, they should be paid that way. And if those other two conferences, if you want to get paid like the Big Ten and the SEC getting paid, you got to start getting your weight up, man. So you gonna get paid too, but just not like them until you start producing some of the interest like those two conferences do. But I'm for them blocking because I don't like monopolies either. One take so, and I do want to see these four conferences stay in existence because I think there's room for them all to be able to exist in that way. But they just got to fix the thing, man. They just got to fix it.
Hey, I don't look at it as a monopoly though. I look at it as, we can cut out the middleman and they can still, if they have 2014 conferences, those are your top 48 teams in the country. Regardless of what coast they're on, or if they're northern or southern or Midwest, and it's like we're cutting out the middleman and we can bring in a lot of money to these universities and everybody can get that bread. So, and if not, y'all, and say, hey, y'all gonna have to kick us out some more money because we are college football. So I think they have some leverage there.
Oh, for sure, for sure. For or against? We're gonna start with you, one take. Or you got something else to add to that?
Yeah, before we move on, this is what I don't want though. When because of the super conference. So we got 18 teams alone in the Big Ten, and out of 18 of those teams, I couldn't say this a decade ago, so I'm actually proud of this. We probably got 3 schools that don't take football serious. And, it's for different reasons. Purdue's more of a basketball school. They put a lot of resources into basketball, so I can understand them. Maryland is just putrid. I don't know what they doing over there. And the other one I might say it would be UCLA. And UCLA is even starting to, put a little more into their program. But any given year and within a decade, I could see a team pop in the Big Ten. Like we got Northwestern, who got out of this world stadium that was just built. That's probably going to open this year. So they're infusing money into the program. You got a Wisconsin program that they don't get the top tier talent, but when you watch that football team, they play hard and they put a little money behind their program. They got Bryce West from Ohio State because they offered him $1 million. So we understand that they're putting money into their program. It's just you can go down and dissect each school and be like, these guys are putting money into the program. And if you go to a super conference, you're just gonna get tired because you're gonna get the same matchups over and over. And that's why I don't want super conference.
Okay. Are y'all for or against limit and on roster costs? No number's been placed yet, but are y'all in favor or against putting a limit on roster costs?
I'm in favor of it.
I'm for sure in favor of it. If you let it keep going like it's going right now, you're going to have schools that are going to have to drop sports, and that doesn't help anybody. The first sports cut are going to be, quote unquote, the Olympic sports, as they've been called, your tennises, stuff like that. Some of your track and field programs. Stuff like that's going to get just thrown to the wayside because it's not good. And then who knows what it's going to do to some of the smaller football budget schools. They may have to cancel football altogether. You have to put a cap on this somewhere. I don't know what the number is, not worried about it, but there has to be a number. You can't have schools out there. I'm throwing this out there because it was brought up in one of the things I was watching, Rob. It's not a shot, but you got schools like Texas throwing $40 million on a roster. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. I mean, I get they've got the money. A&M's got the money. Ohio State's got the money. Notre Dame. They all have the money. That's not the point. Your schools like Va-Tech may not have the money. No offense to Va-Tech. They were the first school that popped into my mind. So, those schools can't spend or don't spend $40 million on a football roster. And to me, it's just not. I'm not saying it needs to be fair because it's not, but there needs to be a number.
What about you, One Take?
Yeah, I ain't with this. And let me explain why. First of all, we already got a cap in place, technically speaking. It's 20 and a half. They give 20 and a half to these programs, and they're supposed to distribute it how they please across all their sports. So technically, you really can't go over 20 and a half. But this is the main thing why I say we can't sit there and do that. How much money are these players generating? So now we're talking about these evaluations, and Sean, you mentioned Texas. So we sitting there telling Arch Manning that he one of the big faces in college football. He can't go out and get endorsements because that's all a part of the evaluation. That's all a part of it.
No, endorsements aren't part of it.
That is a part of the evaluation. I'm telling you, that's how. When I look at Ohio State's breakdown, Jeremiah Smith's evaluation, his full evaluation of what he makes per year as a college athlete, is a part of our evaluation as a team, and when they consider how much we pay our players. That's all a part of it. I'm trying to tell you, I didn't study the Ohio State's evaluation. Trust me. This is how it works. So if Jeremiah Smith is out here and they evaluate him to be making $6 million this year, that's the number that they evaluate him at, is $6 million this year. That's a part of our evaluation of how much we're paying our roster. And that's not cool because it's too much money being generated off the players' back. You can't limit them in their endorsements. I'm not cool with that.
What I'm saying is it's not limiting them in their endorsements. What this is part of that bill too, by the way, is okay. You can go out and spend $40 million on your rosters, but that has nothing to do with the money that players making through endorsements and stuff. Like, Jeremiah Smith can go do a Lexus sponsorship for $20 million or whatever, and that doesn't count against the roster cap, is what I'm saying. This is just a set.
See, look, I just caught you SEC guys because it's already in place. You got 20 and a half. We already got a cap. It's 20 and a half. That is 20 and a half, bro. That's the money that the NCAA gives each program. That's the cap.
No, that's not the cap.
That's fine. But that's not a cap. But that's just an athletic budget. But this is just for your football roster is what they're really talking about.
What the difference is. Because everybody been playing gray area. And except for Ohio State, honestly. We know. We giving out Lambos out south. Everybody's playing the gray area when it comes to this. The cap and what y'all saying is the budget is the same thing. That's the same thing. Y'all just wording it different.
Well, I mean, maybe you might think we wording it different, but I don't think it's the same thing because if a school that doesn't have a football program is more of a basketball school, they're going to get more money of that 20.8 to the basketball program than they are the football program. So I don't think the cap is on, like we're talking about on football. We think there should be a cap on how much you can spend on a roster. 20.8, everybody's going past 20.8. Nobody's staying up under that. And not every not all 20.8 is going to that school's football program. They're spreading that stuff around so to other sports. So I don't think that's the cap, and that's why we know it's not a cap, because Texas is spending 40 plus, and I think there's another school that's spending at least 42, and there's others that's in the 30s. So, but I think I'm gonna say I'm against it being a cap simply because let's take Ohio State for instance. They had some serious dudes on that roster last year, more so than everybody else in the country, in my opinion. You got dudes on your roster. They're gonna require more money because they're dudes, and everybody might not have that many dudes. So you can't put a limit on it because everybody don't have the same number of dudes. Take Arch Manning for instance. He's a dude. He's gonna require more. You got Colin Simmons. He's going to require more. And if you got 7 or 8 of those dudes on your team, it's going to require more money until they off your books. So, and I think every year programs like Ohio State, like Texas A&M, like Georgia, like Michigan, they're going to have players that are going to just require more money. So I don't know if you can put a limit on that because of the fact that you got so many dudes on your team that's going to require more and more, especially when they get to their junior year. Dude, that's going to be astronomical money for them. So I don't think it can be a limit, but I do believe that there should be some kind of wording in there that sort of keeps people from going ballistic, though, to where you up in the 50s and 60s and 70s, which it seems like that's the direction it's going because every team wants to be relevant. And if you're not playing the game, and that's the gray area that people are living in, eventually you're going to have to live in there too. Otherwise, you're not going to be relevant.
I will say one exception. I think everybody needs to have the same roster budget, except Georgia. I think Georgia should have more.
Yeah.
Because those players down there need to be able to pay them in outlandish speeding tickets they keep getting. So they need a little more money.
Hey, and I want to say too, that I get what y'all saying, but man, once again, I'm telling you, this all go back to what is name, image, and likeness. What was it built on? You feel me? Like I just feel like it's money in them evaluation. And I ain't never been a good pocket watcher. Let me say that too. I ain't a good pocket watcher. If I'm messing up and somebody watching, if y'all think that I'm wrong, I'm probably am wrong because I ain't never been a good pocket watcher. I don't like watching people's pockets. There's enough money out here for everybody. They print it every day. But I don't know, man. I think these NIL deals, man, these endorsements, I think these are added to these evaluations, man. And I think people in general are bad pocket watchers. You can look up somebody's net worth on Google that got some fame and fortune about themselves, and you hear a lot of people say it all the time. That's either too low or too high, So I don't think people really know, honestly.
Yeah, I fully get your side of the argument, Zay, 100%. I see what you're saying. These guys are valued. If Jeremiah Smith, because we used him as an example, is valued at $6 million, that's what his it. But that's where, his valuation would be $6 million, but that's taking into account a lot of the endorsement money and deals he signed. This is leaving those off the table and saying, go get whatever money you can get through endorsements or whatever. But hey, Ohio State, you have 105 players on your roster, and here's $40 million for your football roster. And then if you want to go out and get a $10 million Darian Mensah quarterback, well, okay, now you've got $30 million to build the rest of your roster around. But that's where the thing is you have to play the game of how much money is the cap going to be. I call it a cap, but it's not going to limit any other money you can earn. Like Marcel Reed, maybe. I think he was something like somebody put his valuation at like $885,000. He wasn't even $1 million quarterback, and yet he was out there signing deals with Sonic and all these other places, making more money than his, money from A&M. He was making more money on these endorsement deals. So the endorsement deals are totally out of the picture for what these guys are earning. It's just strictly, you have 105 players. Here's $35 million. Go build a roster.
Hey, I feel like this is only kind of relevant because they don't want to see Texas Tech take over the sport. Texas Tech is just throwing money like it's toilet paper.
Oh yeah. That's we'll get into Texas Tech here in a second. I'm sure we got some. I got a hot take on that one coming up, Rob. You'll like this.
Yeah. Let's go to our next question. Should universities be allowed to talk to coaches or their agent they like to hire while their season is still active? Should coaches be able to be contacted while their season is still active for a coaching job? You can start that off, SEC.
I don't think so. I mean, it's going to happen because of all the agents involved now. But this is quote unquote the Kiffin rule. This is actually labeled in that bill as the Lane Kiffin rule, to where you can't be talking with other coaches during their season. But I mean, you're going to talk, they're going to talk to the agent who's then going to talk to the coach anyway. So, I mean, I don't think there's any way around it, but I don't like it. I mean, I hate to say it, Rob, but that's one reason I can't stand that baseball coach y'all have.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the College World Series against Tennessee, and he's moonlighting at the University of Texas with CDC.
Yeah.
I don't like that game. You don't get up on the podium and say, I took the job at A&M to never take another job. And 18 hours later, you're meeting at a cemetery with Chris Del Conte in Snook, Texas, and jumping in a car and going to Austin. I don't like it. It takes away from what those players have tried to build and do. So, yeah, I think that needs to be totally needs to be disallowed, but it'll never happen because of agents.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that one take?
I actually think they just need to have a period set for it, like a 2-week period. One probably earlier in the year. If somebody ups and fires their coach, they should be able to contact people's agents or other coaches around the country earlier in the season and just gauge their interest. Ain't nobody gonna switch coaching in week 3 or something, but to gauge their interest, to get the coaching search started off, and then I think it needs to be a period right before bowl season. So after conference championships in, I think yes, you because what you don't want is programs and shams not knowing who they're going to hire, but also you'll give, if you set a period, you'll give, if a team like Lane, I don't have a problem with Lane did. I have a problem with when it took place. So if you gave them a period, enough time to get situated, I'm cool with that. You feel me? Because this is the job market when we're talking about this. You want to move up. You want to get more money. You always want to elevate. I don't have a problem with people elevating, but I just think it needs to be enough time within that time where they offering these guys to where, okay, maybe you got to get ready for a playoff game.
Man, if you just look at all the stuff that we've discussed in this short 55 minutes, there is so much stuff that college football needs to fix, and I don't even know how they could even work the daggone schedule to even deal with this issue right here. Because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, school A is interested in this coach over here. You let the agent know, hey, listen, at the end of the season, we want to we have interest in this coach. You can't tell him, but you can't just, you allowed to let him know that there's a school out there that got interest in you, but they can't talk to you right now until after the season is over or whatever. How can the calendar even be fixed to do what you're talking about, One Take, or anything that anybody else is talking about? Is there a window that can be had to where that can happen, to where it doesn't affect the university that coach is at right now? And I hear what you're saying, One Take, but if they're in a bowl game, then I mean, do you pluck them before their bowl game? I mean, I just don't. I want to know, how can they fix it now when you got recruits and the possibility that a recruit might leave because now the coach that recruited me is not going to be there, and now you're going to bring in another guy. Maybe I don't want to go play for this other guy. Maybe he was recruiting me too, and I chose this coach because I like this coach better. I just don't know how they can fix it all. But I don't want to see coaches getting poached. I don't want situations like what happened with Lane Kiffin happen again, that, he's going to another school, but now he can't coach his guys in the national championship game or in the playoffs. So I don't know how they're going to fix it, but I wish they'd do something about it, because I don't necessarily like the way that went down. And I definitely don't like the way it went down between Texas and Texas A&M and that coach. And I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, and I want them to have the greatest and the best coaches, but I didn't like that. And when I read on it, I shook my head like, come on, Texas. Damn, are y'all serious? Y'all backdooring them? And y'all was in the college baseball World Series. Like, wow, man. But, I guess people just, when you got that gray area, people are going to live in it, man. And I think they need to get that gray area fixed. What's your thought?
CDC is the king of the gray area. I'm going to tell you all right.
He's the king of the gray area, bro.
There's no doubt.
You tell me, I know. I already know, bro. I already know. What's your thoughts on Texas and Texas A&M? Texas Tech's beef, and Cody Campbell saying he will buy out the first games for both teams to play in week 1. Do you like that idea? What's your thoughts on that? We're going to start with you first, One Take.
Hey, we play y'all week 2. He couldn't afford to buy us out, so that's another story for another topic, you know what I mean? But hey, I love the smoke, man. These are 2 Texas schools. The rivalry really run deep. Texas Tech getting with this new NIL stuff, their program is on the up and coming because they got a lot of bread to spend. Hey, they trying to fight for who the big dog in Texas. I ain't mad at them. Stir up the pot. Texas been the best school in that state for quite some time. So, stir up the pot, man, and see what you can do. I ain't mad at him at all.
What's your take, SEC, Sean?
Well, you're right. You're right, Zay. Texas has been the preeminent program in Texas for a long time. We're like Malcolm. We're kind of just in the middle, and then Texas Tech is the little brother. Dude, this is nothing but PR move. There's no way you can cancel a game 100 days out with all the logistics that have already been put in place. It's just not going to be possible. It's a great PR move. Texas Tech is stupid if they want to schedule Texas in week 1. You don't even have a quarterback, bro. Texas would destroy you. And it wouldn't be close. But it's Tech. They're putting their name out there. Recruits probably see this going, I want to go play for a coach like that. He'll say what, blah, blah, whatever. But it's just Tech with a PR move. They even posted on Twitter, that somebody from Texas Tech posted a score. I think it was the Crabtree game when they beat Texas. But Texas's record was 4-7 that year. So maybe it was a different year that they beat them, but Texas was 4-7 nonetheless. And they were all bragging about a 3-point victory over a 4-7 team. It's just Texas Tech. That's what they do. I will say this. This is my hot take on this. Playing around on Twitter, reading some of the stuff on this. This is probably the first time, May 30th in the year 2026, that if you get on social media and look up some comments under this, you will find A&M fans and Longhorn fans coming together to go after Tech. This has probably never happened again, but it's happening right now. So it's just crazy, the stuff. But yeah, it's nothing but a PR move by Tech. Good PR move, but it's not possible.
Yeah. What's happening, Anthony Manzano, 3551? Welcome back. I know you probably got a question or two in your head for us right now. We're talking about the situation between Texas and Texas Tech, that beef that they got going on, and the fact that Cody Campbell want to buy out both teams' first game so that they can play maybe in Arlington or something. I feel like this, hey, man, if somebody called me out, I don't care if I will get my ass whooped. I'm going to talk some shit back. I'm not going to let nobody talk no shit to me, and I ain't going to talk no stuff back. Now, I might be a little more quiet because I'm going to wait till them hands get thrown, and then I'm going to do what I got to do. But I ain't going to sit back and let nobody talk no trash to me and let them think, oh, you just going to get that off, because that's not happening. So I think Texas Tech is doing what they're supposed to do. It's one hell of a PR move. It gets your mind off of thinking about Brandon Sorsby and the fact that he got this gambling thing going on. I think Texas A&M understands that they are really the breadwinner in the Big 12, and they don't want people thinking that they're buying their way to conference championships because nobody else can match dollar for dollar with them and the roster that they got. So they want to keep people from thinking about those kind of things. And what better way to do that than to be going at the biggest, baddest beast in Texas and the Texas Longhorns. So, I mean, I like it, man. I feel okay with that. Anthony Manzano said, what alternate universe am I here where the Longhorns and Aggies fans are agreeing on something? Hey, listen, when it comes to Texas Tech and Lubbock, they're going to agree all day. They're going to agree all day.
I'll lay it out like this for you, Anthony. It is an alternate universe, but it's also one that if you will see it when Tech, Baylor, TCU, SMU, any of them other schools in Texas start running their mouth, even against A&M or Texas and A&M will band together and just go destroy you. But that's the only time, is if it's another school in Texas starting stuff. So.
Hold on, Sean. Hold on. TCU is the second best team in that state.
You out of your damn mind.
Hold on. Let's slow down. They've been to a natty, bro.
Slow down. They went to one. You're right. They did, and they never should have. We all saw what Georgia did to them. But
so they don't get credit for that.
No, they get credit
because you ain't been, bro. So I can't sit there and say you the second best program in that state, bro. And I'm just spitting facts. That's all.
That's easy.
They've been to a natty, bro. I gotta give them credit for that.
Hey man, I'm gonna say this, man.
I give them full credit for that.
I would rather not go to a natty than get my ass whooped like TCU did, bro. Hey, listen. Hey, no natty for me if I got to get my ass whooped like that. That's for sure.
Hey, I'm saying, though, they might be a better program than y'all, too, because y'all ain't been to a natty either.
Yeah, we ain't been to no natty. That's true. No. But I guarantee you put them on that schedule right now, they're going to get their asses.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be right on that, though.
Y'all
both might dust them right now. Hey, I don't think I want no problem with both of y'all right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, they've been to a natty. That's it. Hey, I'm going to exit out the door now.
You spot on, bro. Yeah. Put them on the schedule. They're going to go with us week 1, and they're going to go on us with week 1 and y'all with week 2, Rob. Let's go.
Right.
We're gonna make them quit football.
They're gonna come out that mug 0-2 and beat up and go mess around and they'll win the Big 12 because they're gonna be too banged up.
They're just gonna shut down their football program. We're done.
Right. I'm gonna skip this Steve Sarkisian question because I think we talked about that Texas Tech team enough, and we know, that the Big 12 isn't just there yet. Even though, we're gonna this other question gonna answer it though. And SEC Sean, you can bring us up to speed on this. Did you see Brett Yormark's comments? Let the audience know the comment, and then we can chime in on it.
So, Zay, I know you driving. Are you stopped?
Yeah, I'm at the red light.
Okay, good. I'm gonna get this real fast so you don't wreck. Brett Yormark came out saying that the Big 12 is easily the most deepest conference in college football.
So I get what he's saying, but he ain't worded right.
The deepest, worst, the suckiest, worst. What are we trying to word it like?
So we never know who's gonna win the Big 12 every year. It's always a different champion every year. Whoever they pick in the preseason typically never wins the Big 12 until Texas Tech did last year, and that's because they kind of predicted that because all that money they infused. But it as competitive, like competition wise, like that is the most competitive conference each year. And I'll dare somebody to argue with this about me. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know who's going to be the champion, then you cannot tell me that your league is more competitive because they never know who their champion is. Like literally, it'd be like the top 2 or 3 teams don't never finish where they're supposed to from the preseason.
Right. I get that. I'll give you credit for that 100%. That's probably what he should have said, but that's not what he said. So, I just thought it was hilarious, those comments he made. That when he said it was the deepest, I'm like, now it might be the most mid to where you don't know who's who, but it's definitely not the deepest conference. We all know that's the SEC.
For sure. I mean, I think they do.
Hold on, we're not about to fast forward past that like that, man. Hold on.
I tried to slip that in.
Y'all trying to start a beef. Y'all trying to start a beef on this beautiful Saturday morning, man. Hey, slow down, y'all.
I saw you looking away, so I figured I could slip one by you real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably has the most parity of any conference because, like One Take said, they don't know who their champion is going to be year in and year out, and their games have a lot of parity because a lot of their matchups are evenly matched up teams. They don't have a really heavy top like what you hear Anthony Manzano saying in there. In the SEC, you got 3 or 4 really good teams. In the Big Ten, you got 3 or 4 really good teams. The ACC, you got 2 or 3 really good teams. Where in the Big 12, you might have a whole lot of guys that's right there clustered at the top with similar records because there's so much parity. Those teams aren't the greatest teams, and they couldn't compete in those other conferences. Well, maybe they can in the ACC, but they definitely can in the SEC and the Big Ten. And I think that, that makes that statement ring a little bit true because they have so much parity.
And that's why we need to align these schedules, man. Because I'm tired of having these conversations. Like, we need to just show it on the field. If you think y'all teams in the Big 12 could do something with the SEC and the Big 10, then let's line it up. Let's line it up. That's the only way to solve it.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, though. Texas had a home and home with Arizona State, and they canceled that thing because they just don't feel like it's a worthy home and home. So they're going to probably go out there and try to find a bigger brand to do a home and home with, which, I mean, you can't blame them for that. And especially the direction that it sounds like the SEC want to go in terms of breaking away from the NCAA. But I do agree with you, one take, Zay, and what you said earlier. All four of those conferences need to go top 6, top 8, and say, listen, on a rotating basis, we're going to, based on predictions, we're going to match up and we're going to play games, man. At least one of those first 3 weeks of the season, and let's bang, let's go. And hopefully those four conferences can sit down and make that thing happen, because I think there should always be a SEC Big 10 or SEC Big 12 or SEC ACC, and likewise with the other ones. Every year for 1 week out of those first 3, somebody should be playing somebody from another conference that is projected to be in the top 6 or 8 that following year. So I like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I know Anthony posted to get rid of the cupcakes, and I get everybody's point on that because nobody likes to watch that, but I'm a firm believer that cupcake needs to be week 1. Get your people used to hitting somebody different.
Yeah.
You know, the contact, the speed. I'm not saying, I don't think they should start off with I don't think Ohio State and Texas should have played game 1 last year. Wasn't that game 1 for both of y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you need a game to get things, worked on. So I believe in a cupcake for week 1, but after week 2, give me, Texas, Ohio State. Give me A&M, Michigan. I'm just throwing schools out now, but give me those matchups. And then the next week, give me A&M and Tech or Texas and Tech, one of the two. Get one cupcake and the rest are all power schools. That's what I'd like to see.
Hey, so I'm fine with 2 cupcakes. We was mad at the SEC because y'all played 3 cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? We fine with 2 cupcakes. The NFL got preseason games too. Them are like preseason games in my opinion. I don't even like that we're playing Texas week 2 this year. You should never do that. You should always play your big non-conference game, in my opinion, in week 3, because you got two weeks to hash out some kinks that you couldn't do in practice, and now is go time. You play that 3rd game, and then you in conference play. I feel like that's how all scheduling should be, and I think it makes the most sense because I think you'll get better games that way too. I hate when we had these marquee games week 1, but the cupcakes serve their purpose because they're getting $1 million, $2 million out of this too. This is supporting their programs, man. We need to continue to play these cupcake games so they can continue to have football programs. Let them get beat on for that $2 million. That's what they're there for.
I agree. I won't argue with that. Yeah. I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but I agree with you, Zay. The cupcakes are they do serve their purpose, and you're right. That is what pays those schools money, and get that makes their budget for the whole year sometimes. I know some smaller schools came out and said without playing these bigger schools and getting the money from the Texas's, Ohio State's, A&M's of the world, they would have to eliminate some sports and some travel and stuff like that. So I agree it makes it. I think if we're wanting to get to a conference matchup with scheduling, I just think you need to eliminate and have one cupcake game and then go from there with the flipping of the schedule between the conferences. But I could do 2 cupcakes. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, now that everybody is on a 9-game conference schedule throughout all of those Power 4 conferences, they're not all created equal, though, bro. A SEC 9-game conference schedule is not the same as an SEC or a Big 12, and in some cases, the Big 10, bro. I'm telling you right now.
Stop that.
And that's why you got 3 cupcakes from the SEC, because 8-game conference schedule before this year was more competitive and more grueling than some of these 9-game conference schedules at these other conferences, man. So I don't blame the SEC. Yeah, we're on the same page with everybody else now, but the 9-game schedule in the SEC in most cases will top anybody else's 9-game conference schedule. Now, Ohio State has a tough schedule this year, but so does my Texas Longhorns.
I don't know. Let me be the judge of that. I got to look at y'all's schedule because you weigh these teams a little too high. But line it up, no. Line it up, man. Come on, make that phone call, man. You got enough juice.
There it is. There it is. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we wrap up? We were at 1 hour and 15 minutes. We want to wrap this up as soon as possible. We appreciate everybody for jumping in that chat with us and hanging with us this morning. Anything else y'all want to talk about?
Nah, it's about time for me to jump off. I gotta, today's the wife's birthday. Got to go take her running around, ruin my bank account, stuff like that,
Yeah, well, tell her we said happy birthday from here, from the WTP Sports Dude.
Yeah, tell her I said happy birthday, man.
Of course.
She good peoples.
Yeah, for sure.
When she wants to be. She has her days.
One take you handling the show tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, hold on. Let me see.
He'll read his last 3 comments.
I got him. Here's one. I think.
Is that the first one? But to me, the reason why I feel the cupcakes are pointless, what does that prove really facing these Division II or Group of 5 teams really?
It don't prove nothing.
Yeah, it don't prove nothing. That's for sure.
It's a tune-up, bro. That's what you need, though. It's a tune-up game. You don't want to go straight from practice going to a primetime game. You need that's why you play preseason games in the NFL.
He actually likes the conference battle challenge between each conference. He agrees with that. The next comment would have been, I'd rather face better competition early in the season before the conference schedule and robbery games happen instead of these cupcakes.
He meant rivalry. Yeah, rivalry. Yeah, man. You could play a marquee non-conference game. It's 3 games.
Yeah.
Tune up. Marquee game, conference play. Yeah. Straight off the marquee game.
And then he had mentioned something about when I was talking a minute ago about, and when we were talking about these other conferences not having the money. Why is it the bigger conferences' fault that those smaller teams and smaller conferences don't have the money to fund their programs? So that's the whole point. They're smaller programs. They don't have the money to fund all that travel and stuff that, a Texas or an Ohio State or an A&M or Notre Dame or anybody like that, Miami even, since I know you're a Hurricane fan. I mean, those schools, the directional schools, as they're called, Southwest Missouri State, they don't have the money in the budget for all this travel and stuff. So that $1 million, $2 million payout that A&M's paying them to come down there and get beat down, hopefully, because we've seen it go backwards too. But that's why. That's why those games do matter, and I agree with Zay on that point that those small schools do need that money.
Hey, like my guy RJ Davis say, I like them games too, because every once in a while we see a shimmy shag put the money in the bag. You feel me? And they come out with a dub with that 1 or 2 million, and you be looking stupid. We all know the most famous one was that Michigan and Appalachian State one. That I still watch the highlights of that. That was beautiful.
I do not agree with that statement. That school should never be mentioned on this podcast again. I do not like that school because their 2 biggest wins in the history of that program are Michigan and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But I will say on a side note, I kind of do like them because they're the ones that started the ball rolling on Jimbo getting the hell out of there.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we had a preseason, man, where teams could get tune-up games, yeah, you would probably get away from the cupcake games. But you got to have those cupcake games, man, to prepare your guys for, especially those grueling conference games. Because even I don't care what conference you in, man. When you got to go in somebody else's backyard, bro, you better bring your A game. And if you just got off of a serious battle with somebody in your conference and then you got to travel to this other team, that's where you see upsets in conferences a lot of times, man. We see how beat up Florida looked like they appeared to be, right? Texas roll in there and they beat the hell out of Texas that day. So, and probably kept Texas out of the college football playoffs. So, I mean, man, it is what it is. I think you got to have the cupcakes for tune-ups. But at the same time, I do want to see high-profile matchups week in and week out. I just don't think it's feasible to get. But I do like the fact that, you know, we had the discussion about it.
The year real quick, Anthony. This will probably be, I know we're trying to get out of here. This will probably be the last comment we hit here, I guess. I want to say it was early 2000s, mid 2000s, and it was Oklahoma, and it was a bowl game.
Yeah,
it was a bowl game too.
It was a bowl game.
Fiesta Bowl, I believe.
Yeah.
And they ran the Statue of Liberty and beat Oklahoma.
What was that running back's name? Ian something?
Oh, that was a classic game too.
Yeah. I can't remember his last name, but Ian's right. I need to look that up because if I'm not mistaken, that might be the running back that came out of Texas, out of Argyle.
Yeah.
They need to let them bring the blue on blue back, man. Them were the days for college football. I'm telling you.
What's the blue on blue?
You know, the blue unis on the blue field.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
We used to get college football and create all the guys from the Cougars and put them on Boise State. It was crazy.
Oh, wow. That's wild. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all this morning, man. Y'all go enjoy the rest of y'all's day. Hug on that wife a whole lot, man, on her birthday for us. SEC Sean. Everybody check out all the channels scrolling across the bottom. Check us out on Patreon and Spotify at WTP Sports Dudes 2026. And also check out our website, WTPSportsDudes.com. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Make sure you catch us. One Take, you going to do that show tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll see y'all all tomorrow. Thanks again, homies, and I will see y'all soon.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.